Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. And today's webinar topic is predict problems before they impact member experience. And I'm really glad that you could all join us today. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you guys are joining in. So let me just go through the webinar and let's just start. So over the next hour, we will explore how organizations are moving from a reactive approach to a proactive one, predictive way of managing member outcomes, especially in behavioral healthcare. And before we begin, just a quick note, this session will include a walkthrough of real world challenges, the approaches we have taken, and a live demo towards the end. And we will also have time for Q&A session. So please feel free to drop all your questions in the chat as we go along, and we will answer all your queries at the end of this webinar. Let me just quickly walk you through towards the agenda of today's webinar. And we will be starting by understanding the problem statement, like what challenges organizations are currently facing. Then we will move into the Lumenore solution, where we will show how data and AI come together to solve these challenges. After that, we will also look into the outcomes and impact, what kind of results this approach can derive. We will also take you through a demo so that you can all see this all into an action. And finally, we will wrap up this with a Q&A session. Let me just introduce you towards our keynote speaker. And his name is Harshit Saxena. He's Associate Director at Lumenore, and he's working on specialized AI-powered data analytics platforms like Lumenore. Harshit brings over 12 years of experience in business intelligence and analytics, with deep expertise in building scalable data solutions and product-led innovation. He has been closely involved in developing AI-driven approaches that help organizations make smarter and faster decisions. With that, I will hand it over to Harshit to let us go through this webinar. So over to you, Harshit.
Thank you for that introduction, Asta. So, hello everyone. Great to have you all here. So, as mentioned, I will now take through how we are utilizing the AI power within Luminor to predict recidivism risk and enable more proactive care. So let's start with the problem statement, right? So most of the healthcare organizations today are dealing with fragmented data. So the data is present in the clinical system, operational system, and the service data. So all are disconnected. Because of this, identifying a high risk member become extremely difficult for us. So what happens as a result? So interventions happen too late. Care team operate in reactive mode. Patients end up getting hospitalized again. Another major challenges we can see is the lack of visibility into the recidivism risk. So we don't know how often or how likely who is for the return within the 30 days, 60 days or 90 days. And even when we try to act, there is no structured way to prioritize the interventions, measure the impact, or identify service gap across the populations. So overall, the system is working very hard, but not always working as a smart. So now imagine if all of this data could come together, and we are not just providing you the reports, we are actually telling you what will happen next. So that's where Luminore comes in. Okay, so at Luminore, we bring the data from the multiple data sources into a unified intelligence layer. We combine the member demographic data, we combine the profile data, provider and service provider data. Also, we fetching the authorization and claims data, and most importantly, hospitalization history. So this gives us a complete 360-degree view of each members. Now, once the data is consolidated, the real magic begins. We use the advanced AI techniques like shape or line to identify which factors usually influencing the recidivism. So what we found here, risk is influenced by the combination of clinical conditions, service usage patterns, the historical behavior of a member, and the demographics. So let me show you like how we have implemented this solution in a workflow diagram end to end. So this is the workflow diagram which is basically end to end. So let me walk you through from the starting point, that is the data sources. So we starts with the multiple data sources, which includes the member data, authorization data, service data, and hospitalization data as well, which includes the hospitalization history of a member. So all of this data we are ingesting and processing through the AI-driven feature engineering. Now, this is where the real intelligence comes in picture, because the AI model analyzes this data and stratifies members into three risks, which is high risk, medium risk, and low risk. So instead of treating every member the same, we now clearly knows who needs immediate attention, because we have considered or we have classified those members in the high risk group. Based on this segmentation, AI doesn't just stop by prediction. So it actually recommends the right interventions of each group. There is where we move from insights to action. Once the interventions are implemented, we track those outcomes through the claims and service deliveries. This creates a feedback loop, so the model keeps learning and we are also improving over time to time. So this is all about the flow diagram which I just explained to you, the end-to-end journey, how the model works here. Now, the another question is like, how does the model decides who is at the risk? So these are the significant attributes which we have mentioned based on the categories. So let's take an example of clinical and disability data, historical behavior of a member, demographic data of the member, service and provider data. So all these we are combining and we are predicting the risk of individual member. So what's important here? We are not relying on a single factor, right? And we are looking at the combination of behavioral, clinical, and service patterns. Now, let me quickly explain you how the model works in a very simple way. So we divided the data into three parts. First is the training part, second one is the validation part, and last one is the test data. So we trained the data based on the attributes which I have just shown you in the previous slides and fine-tune it. So we trained the data based on the training data set. Let's take an example of this. So we trained the model using the historical data starting from let's take an duration of 2012 to 2024. So based on that data, we have trained our pre-trained model and validate it on recent data. Next, please. Yes. Now we have validated this data and fine-tuned it based on the validation data which we have. Once the fine-tuned data model is available or maybe trained, right? So we are basically giving them a test data which we can say is starting from the 2025 onwards. Next. So once the model is tuned, right? So what this model is doing is it is predicting the probability of each individual based on the risk. So this I will show you what is the basically the accuracy which we are getting it. So the model is performing around 70% accuracy. So we have tested all these models on that AI model, and we have received the around 70% of the accuracy there. In fact, if you look at the industry standards as well, most of the readmission model operates between 65 to 85% of the accuracy. So we are in the right range, and also we are continuously improvising the model accuracy based on the training. Now, beyond the prediction, we also uncovered something very important, that is the service inconsistencies across the populations. So here we have taken some populations based on the SMI, then locus score of level 3 and 4. Race we have considered around African American and whites, and we have considered those members who are recidivistic in nature in 30 days. So from this example, we can see some of the groups are receiving more interventions, others are underserved, and even when services are similar, intensity differs there. So it's not just about predicting the risk, it's about ensuring equity in care deliveries as well. So this is basically the outcome which we have achieved it. Now let's jump to the product demo directly, because we will show you like how this solution works in real life. So before jumping into the platform, let me quickly set the context here. So in these solutions, we primarily focus on the three key personas. The first persona is executive leadership. This includes CEO, directors, IT heads, VPs. From their perspective, the focus is on overall risk trends, cost and operational impact, and where to optimize the intervention. The second persona we will consider is the clinicians and the case managers. For them, the focus shifts to individual member risk, clinical history, and what action needs to be taken. The last persona is the service providers. Their focus is more operational. Which interventions are assigned, what has been delivered, and what is still pending. So it all brings persona into a single intelligence platform so that leadership can make a better decision, clinicians can take timely actions, and providers can execute effectively. With that context, let me log in into the platform and I will show you like how this solution look like and how this solution works. So let me share my screen. I hope my screen is visible to all. So let me log in with the leadership context. So on the screen, this is the executive summary dashboard for the leadership team. So let me start with the children segment. This one. Here we can see that the recidivism rate is highlighted in red. It means that is increased compared to the previous quarter. So now this immediately tells us that this segment requires close attention and possible early interventions. If we compare with the adult population here, we see slight decrease in the recidivism rate compared to the previous quarter. Along with this, we are showing the trends of hospitalization rate. If you can see here, also we are measuring it based on the quarter-over-quarter basis. We also get the insights of demographics and the age bucket. Now, moving to the next section or lower section of this executive summary. Here, this donut is basically the output of the AI model, which is generated or which is categorized the members into high, medium, low risk. So model identifies the 61 members are from the high risk, which means our focus is to provide the immediate attentions or the interventions to these members. Along with this, we have provided some insights as well. Like majority have serious mental illness, SMI. Many of these are having co-occurring diseases. And a significant portion which belongs to a specific demographic groups. So all these insights are available here. We can directly read it out and we can take those actions as well. Now, once high-risk members are identified, the next step is to take the actions or intervention, assigning the interventions to those members who are at the high risk, because these members are basically first to get the interventions or seek the immediate actions. So here we have classified those interventions category into 4 parts. First is the assigned state, second one is the accepted, third one is the delivered, and last one is the claimed. So for example, 339 interventions are assigned, but only a subset has been accepted and delivered. Now, this is where the leadership actions become important, because identifying risk is only half of the job, but the real impact comes from the executing interventions effectively. So let's move on to the risk stratification page, where we can see the case managers are assigning the interventions to the service providers. So let me click on the risk stratification screen here. And here you can see there are some visualizations are present. The first one is the same which we have plotted on the first executive summary screen. So here is the output of the AI model, which is basically giving us the member risk, and other visualizations are distributing the members among different attributes like primary disability designation, SUD, gender, and age group. And below we have configured the action grid. So there are two parts: facilitate the interventions and the view intervention. I will cover both into this demo. So let's talk about first the facilitate intervention. So here, if we can take an example of this member, you can see this member is of age 40, in the high risk, African American, gender is female, primary disability designation is SMI, and 38 times she admitted in the past years. What is the admission date and discharge date? If we need to see the profile of this particular member, so I just click on the view profile, and this is giving me the details of the past hospitalization. And if these are the member profile, like average length of stay for this member is 12 days and the recidivism count is 6. Now the duty of the case manager is basically assign the intervention. So how a case manager assign the intervention to this member? So I just click on the facilitate. So here it is showing us the two categories. One is the suggestive intervention and another one is the custom actions. So suggestive interventions are generated by the or recommended by the AI system, and the custom actions is basically coming from the IPOS based interventions. Now the case manager can assign these interventions directly to the service provider or the CRISP, but if case manager want to disable or enable a particular intervention, they can also do it, and they can set this intervention to be initiated in 30, 60, 90 days. So let me assign this intervention quickly. So I just click on the assign part. Now this intervention is assigned to that particular CRISP, and that CRISP will get a notification also. Now the case manager want to see the status of already assigned intervention to members. So what they can do is they can just click on the view intervention part here and click on the view intervention. So here for this particular member, 3 interventions are already assigned. Now the case manager can see out of 3, 2 are accepted by the provider and 1 interventions are already delivered. So likewise, case manager can also see like what is the status of the assigned intervention at the service provider level. So from this screen, we are enabling the targeted and effective intervention plan. So let me show you how interventions are managed within the system. So this screen is basically based on how a case manager can assign the interventions to the CRISP and what is the status of those interventions. Now, how interventions are managed, that we can see into the intervention insights dashboard or report. So at the top, it's a quick snapshot of the intervention life cycle. So it is starting from the intervention assigned, then accepted, delivered, claimed, rejected, and total interventions. So identifying the risk and the assigning the intervention to the member is one part of the platform. The real question is how effectively are we executing the interventions? So based on the below grid, we can also identify the gaps between the assigned, accepted, and delivered intervention. These gaps directly highlighted the operational efficiency or inefficiency in the care deliveries. So let's take an example of, we have just assigned these interventions to this member. So you can see the assigned dates are here, but these dates accepted, delivered, and rejected are blank because the CRISP is basically not taken any actions on these interventions. So we have also marked the intervention progress status here, where we can directly see how many interventions are in the progress and how many interventions are completed on time and how many interventions are basically on the missed opportunity. Okay. So till here we have covered basically the two personas. First one is the leadership, second one is the case manager. Now let's directly jump to the service provider part, that is our third persona, who will take the actions on the assigned interventions from the case manager. So let me log in, and I will also show you, like, these are some slicers which we have added at the top, by which you can filter the data based on whatever the choice which we can make it here. I just mentioned one more thing here, the risk stratification. So here we have provided, if some of the users are do not want to read these whole dashboard, right? So what they can do, they can directly click on the view insights and they will get the summary of this this dashboard particularly. So let me go to the CRISP persona. Let me log in with one of the CRISP. Let me save. Right. So again, this is the same dashboard which we have seen earlier in the CRISP persona, but here case manager persona, but here CRISP can see only those interventions designated to this CRISP. Now, again, these pie charts or maybe visualizations are same as the earlier dashboard which I have shown you. The thing is, here we can see there are the steps: assigned, accepted, delivered, and rejected. Now CRISP can take actions on the assigned interventions. So we have assigned the intervention to this member. Now, if again CRISP want to see the view profile, they can directly go here and see the profile of this particular member. Now let's take an action over one of the interventions which we have already assigned to this member. So I just click on the view intervention, and these are the list of the interventions which we have assigned it. Now if I want to take the action on it, I just click on take action. So this is giving you by when this intervention is assigned, to be delivered within 30 days and to be completed by this date. So from here, CRISP can take 3 actions. One is accepted, delivered, and rejected. So let's take an example of this time CRISP accepted this intervention. So I just click on the submit. So earlier there are 4 interventions, but now it is 2 because one is removed from this queue. Let's take again one action on this intervention. This time I am marking this intervention as delivered, and I am marking I will deliver this by 24th of April, and I submit it. So now these 2 interventions are left, and I am keeping these 2 interventions in the assign mode itself. So let's go to the intervention accepted. Here again, because we have just moved one intervention from the assigned state to the accepted state. So let's take a look of it. So I just click on this. From here as well, I can move this intervention to the delivered state or at the rejected state. So this time I thought I discussed with the member, and member rejected this intervention, for example. So I clicked on the intervention rejected, and here we can see there are some reasons are available. So I can select member refused for this requested service and click on submit. So this is again removed because it is moved from this queue to the another queue. Intervention delivered, because we have marked one intervention as a delivered, so we can see that intervention into the intervention delivery section. So here you can see this is the intervention delivered, and the last one is the intervention rejected. So here we can see all these are the list of the interventions which are rejected with the rejected reasons as well. So this is basically, this screen is used by the CRISP, by which they can take actions, maybe timely actions, or so that interventions are effectively given to the members as well. The last part is CRISP can also track the interventions in the intervention insight dashboard. So again, this is the same screen which we which I have already shown you in the case manager persona. So with this also, CRISP can manage their interventions, and they can track their progress as well. And we also can track based on the intervention progress status, like how many interventions are still in the CRISP queue, how many interventions are timely completed, and how many interventions are basically missed the opportunity. So we have designated some delivery time, but CRISP or service provider is not take any kind of action, so we mark those as a missed opportunity. So till here, what we have covered? We have covered the three persona, starting from the leadership, then the case manager, and lastly the CRISP. So let me again jump to the leadership role, because we have additional reports there. So again, I jump to the leadership role here, or as you can see, there are multiple options are available here. So this distinguish or we have implemented the role-based access as well, where we can enable or disable the modules based on the permissions. So let's take an example of this hospitalization trend. So this is our integrated care analytics dashboard, and this is designed for leadership or clinicians to get the holistic view of the hospitalization rate, recidivism rate, and the cost impact. At the top, we can quickly see the summary of the key metrics. So for example, the hospitalization rate, then recidivism rate, and we are also tracking the cost associated with the hospitalization as well as the recidivism. So we are not showing only the numbers here, we are also showing you the trends. So the last line, if you can see, this is giving you the trend, the decrease in the hospitalization rate, decrease in the recidivism rate, and corresponding reduction into the cost changes as well. So we also provided the geographical view of the data. So we marked, or we have used the two icons. One is for the red and one is for basically the blue ones. So red, let me hover it. So we marked those locations as a red where hospitalization rate is more than 5%. So based on this, the leadership or the clinician can quickly identify which regions requires more attention or maybe a more resources. So that is why the reason it marked it as a red or blue. Coming to the below part of this dashboard. So we have categorized, or we have distributed the hospitalization rate and the recidivism rate based on the different attributes. Let's take an example of gender. First is the gender, age category, co-occurring diseases, primary disability designations, by ethnicity, and we have also plotted the trend here. So we can also track the monthly trend based on the hospitalization rate and the recidivism rate. If we need to go deep down, so we have added two grids based on the CRISP and the member level itself. So from the here also we can identify which CRISP or the service provider is having the higher hospitalization rate and higher recidivism rate as well. If we need to deep down at the member level, we can also go deep down with this grid, where we have shown the member ID wise what is the hospitalization cost, hospitalization count, recidivism count. All these things we can easily track it based on this grid. And if you want to download this, we can also download it based on the export option. So we can download this into the Excel and CSV as well. So one more thing here, which we have integrated into this dashboard, is the conversational analytics. So it is also one of the most important feature where end user can directly ask the questions into the natural language and it will get the quickly responses. So let me show you how. So I just click on the ask me. So here are some sample questions which is already we have provided for the end user. So let's take an example of what is the current recidivism rate. So I just click on that and it is generating the answers at the back end, and it will show you like 13.26% is the current recidivism rate. Now let me ask one more question, the sample question. What is the recidivism rate by ethnicity? So it will show you a graph here which will show you the ethnicity wise recidivism rate. So it is very easy. We can just ask the questions into the natural language and it is giving us the responses very quickly. So let's move, because this is the adult one. Similarly, we have created for the children as well. The same dashboard, same UI. You can easily track, these, metrics or the KPIs for the children as well. So let's move to the service utilization. This is also a next layer of the analysis, service utilization dashboards. So we have also categorized into this as an adult, as a children, and I will show you the frequency based utilization as well for the adult and children. So here you can see these are the summary of the utilization of the services. So this is the overall services for the FY Q4 2025, and this is the QOQ service utilization as well. And we just break down based on the frequency, like quarterly services, monthly services, weekly services, and the daily frequency services, right? So from this we can directly see how the services are utilized by the members based on the frequencies. So from this view we can see directly the weekly frequencies are having good amount of utilizations compared to long-term services like quarterly and monthly. So we just break down this service utilizations rate based on the different attributes like gender, age, now ethnicity, monthly trend of service utilization. If some of the users want to deep dive based on the member level, that we have also included into this, based on the CPT codes, what is the frequency of that CPT code, what is the service effective date, expiry date, what is the planned unit, how much units are delivered, overutilization, overall service utilization, it's a 0%, so gap is 100% here. So based on the color coding, like if there are utilization is 0, we are marking as a amber. The utilization is high, we are marking this as a green. So based on that also we can take some kind of actions, and we can ask CRISP or the members what is happening there. Now this is the place of delivered services based on different where the most of the services are delivered, and this is the CPT code wise service breakdown, or service breakdown based on the weekly, daily, monthly, and quarterly also. So this way we can read it out this dashboard, which is basically a service utilization one, and based on that we can see whether the services are utilized in efficient way or in inefficient way. So let's go to the frequency based service utilization as well. This is basically a granular level of individual services. So here we have added all the grids. So some of the grids are basically on the daily frequency distribution based on the member side, and we have also added the CRISP here. And what is the primary disability designation of that member, the CPT codes. This is the same grid which I have just shown you in the service utilization dashboard as well, but we have break down this based on the frequencies. So first one is the daily frequency, weekly frequency, monthly frequency, quarterly frequency. So all these things we can directly jump in, and we can export this data, and we can utilize it for our analysis as well, like how many services are underutilized, how many services are basically overutilized. So all these things we can directly see into these dashboards. So let's take an example of this, the member details. So this is basically giving us, like, for a particular member, how many times this member is hospitalized and what is the recidivism count of it, right? And what is the average length of stay in the hospital and the recidivism days. So we can also do a analysis on a particular member, whether this particular member is receiving the services on efficient way or not. Like, if some of the services are on the daily basis, whether this member are receiving those services on a daily basis or not, weekly basis or not, quarterly basis or not, likewise. So it will give us the impressions as well. If this particular member is not receiving the services, or getting the services on a time, so it may be a chance for this member to be recidivistic or to be get hospitalized into the hospital, right? So likewise, we can utilize all these hospitalization trend and the service utilization dashboard to see the effectiveness of the interventions which we are assigning with the help of the risk stratification screen. Okay, now one more part is the most important, is because we are basically using the AI model there. So we need to understand the cultural fairness of AI model as well. So let me jump to the cultural fairness. Okay, so this is basically a cultural fairness dashboard. So this gives us a quick view of how well the model is performing from a fairness point of view, right? So there are 16, sensitive attributes, out of which 12 meets both the criteria. Now let's talk about the criteria. So there are two concepts here. Primary concept is equalized odds and the demographic parity. So equalized odd, it ensures that the model is equally accurate across different population groups. Similarly, the demographic parity, this ensures that the outcomes are fairly distributed across the different groups, right? So if we connected this solution, right, because based on this we can see our model is basically not biased in terms of any kind of a groups, right? And these basically, or the cultural fairness is basically evaluated before the model training, so that we can fix the biasness into the model if there is, right? So if we can connect this back to the overall solution, we are not just building a predictive model, right? We are also building a system that is accurate, explainable, and fair. So this is all about the cultural fairness dashboard, by which we can see the biasness of the dashboard. Now the another part is the AI model performance as well. So we are basically giving you the AI model performance dashboard as well. Based on that, the end user can see the accuracy of the current model, and they can by when we need to train these models based on the data drifts or something like this. So the accuracy of this model is 70%. Recall and ROC AUC is also available, and we are also providing you the feature importance. There are multiple features which we have derived at the back end, and based on that, the contribution or the influencing factors which we are showing into this dashboard. So this is basically a AI model performance dashboard, by which we can see the accuracy of that model. Now the last part is the final report, basically the outcome analysis. So let me jump to the outcome analysis. So for the just a time check, I just need to check with the Astha. So we have around how many minutes? 15 minutes, right? Okay. So I will cover this very quickly. This is basically an outcome analysis which shows are we making any differences or not, right? So here we can see the direct impact of the interventions. Now the upper part is the impact of the completed interventions. So whatever be the interventions which we have assigned to the CRISP or the service provider, whether they are making the progress on it or not, right? So this clearly shows that the interventions are not just assigned. We can also, check the outcomes, what outcomes we are deriving from those interventions which we assigned it. So the numbers basically telling us, so if the interventions are efficient, right? So like how many members we have prevented from the last quarter till date, how many members we have prevented in the last quarter, what is the recidivism prevention rate, right? And based on that, what total savings we made in the last quarter or till the last quarter, right? That if we want to see the quarterly member prevented from the recidivism side, so this is the quarterly trend where we can see the quarterly members are prevented and also the cost associated with those members. So this is basically the impact of the completed interventions which we can see in this dashboard. But let's move to the another part of this dashboard, that is the missed opportunity, because it is also equally important for us. So the missed opportunity is maybe from the either from the case manager, which did not assign the interventions to the member on the time before the discharge, or assigned intervention to the CRISP not completed on time. So these are the two things which we can considered as a missed opportunity. So based on the missed opportunity also, we can easily see like how many members we missed it. Recidivist missed this visit recidivistic members due to missed opportunities. What is the cost we have missed it, right? So all these things we can directly measure into this outcome analysis dashboard. So if we step back and look at the full journey which I just explained to you in this webinar, so we started with the predicting risk, assigning the intervention to the CRISP, and tracking the utilizations based on what we have assigned it to the CRISP side. And now we are measuring the real world outcomes as well. So this is all about for the today's webinar, where I have just shown you or explained you the complete solution what we have implemented. So if you have, I guess there are some questions, Asta, I guess. So let me stop sharing my screen. So could this already be used for social where we wouldn't see people hospitalized but people attend? Yes, definitely we can assign, or maybe we can utilize this software for the social work as well. Any other questions if we have? Okay, so I guess we are done here on time. So guys, if you have any other questions, you can directly drop us over the chat. You can also drop us email as well if you have any.
If you have any other question, you can ping us as well. We are waiting for 2 more minutes. Please put your questions in the chat box.
Would each social worker be considered a user? So for this platform, we need to create the logins based on the user basis. So we need to have some email IDs for logging into the system. What is the approximate time range? So basically, it totally depends on the data which we are bringing into the system. If it is clean data, then there is no need of any kind of a massaging or transformations. Then we can implement it very easily. But if it is needed some cleansing or maybe some kind of a training over the model, then it will take some time. So Rahul, I guess based on your requirement, maybe we can again connect, or maybe we can see like how we can proceed it. So I hope there is no more question here. So thank you so much everyone for joining us today. So we are very happy to assist you if you have some other questions as well. And have a great day ahead. Thank you.